When you meet the kind of woman that you like, it may be difficult to keep your mind quiet and remain natural in front of her. If you have trouble attracting exactly the type of woman that you want, we are going to reveal in this video the natural phases you can go through to make any conversation escalate toward a deeper connection between the two of you. From the experts of communication, we have noticed there were about 4 different phases whenever a man and a woman connect with each other, whenever they get more intimately connected, and sometimes when you have trouble getting past the first level, it is because you don't even know what it is supposed to look like or feel like when you get into the advanced levels. So the first level is basically the superficial talk, what you and I would have maybe if we were just meeting for the first time. The superficial talk is when you just talk about the weather outside, when you talk about random stuff like who won the game last night, or about basic information like where do you live, what type of job are you doing. Those are really the basic information, and although this is the easiest one, obviously, because we all do that all day long when we meet new people, the goal, if you want to seduce somebody, if you want to hook up with them, is to stay in that first level as little as possible to get into the next phases. The second phases is the phase of commonalities, where you don't only talk about random superficial stuff about outside random events, you are starting, first of all, listen carefully, first of all to focus only on her, on what she is doing in her life, on what she likes, on what she enjoys on the weekend, on what happened so far in her life. May not go yet into anything deep traumatic, but just what type of things has she lived in her life that you may relate with. And the whole point here is to find at least one legit commonality between the two of you. Not something you're trying to fake or pretend when you're not. Look for something legitimate, something you have lived and that she has lived, or a passion you have in common, or something where you think exactly the same thing she thinks. Look for legit things that you have in common, because that way you can more easily shift into the deeper levels of connection, because you start from something where you are the same. At least you think the same, or you feel the same, or you have lived the same thing. And before going on to the third phase of deeper connections, if you want, I have prepared a document down below with the 5 language patterns I have used the most often to get a conversation to escalate as smoothly as possible toward an intimate connection or even a sexual connection if everything goes well. And I have made a compilation of those things because I noticed whenever I was successfully creating a deep connection with a girl I liked, I was always kind of using the same themes of conversation, and there is a reason why some themes work better than others. I will let you discover that down below if you want to check it out. So the third level is called the us versus them. When you start building kind of a bubble around you, around the two of you, it starts feeling like the whole world around you is evaporating, nothing is important anymore. If a friend is calling you in the party, you don't even hear what he's saying at this point, because you're so lost in her eyes and she's so lost in your eyes, and it is like time is flying by without even knowing why, because you are starting to connect on a deeper level, which means you start building a mutual map of the world where we know we are the same. Within that frame, we think the same, we have the same values, much deeper than I like horse riding, you like horse riding. That's just basic like. When you get deeper than that, it is about values, what is important in the world, what is the most relevant in the world, what should change in the world. When you can get into those deeper topics and you notice there is a real commonality, or if you can connect on deeper wounds, like deeper, maybe not traumatic, but painful experiences, Because when we connect deeply with somebody, the deepest connections you have around you, it is probably not people who only know the good stuff about you and that you only know the good stuff about them. It is probably people who also know the deep shit that happened in your life and you know some of the deep shit that happened in their life. When you can get the girl to that level, again, it doesn't need to become a therapy session, but at least sharing, that is the whole word here, sharing some more intimate, vulnerable things about you so that you encourage her to share more vulnerable things about her. My big point about this is you can talk about anything negative or bad that happened to you as long as you have recovered from it. At least, let's say at 90% you have recovered from it. Because one time I helped a guy who could not understand how this could be relevant. Because he said, well, a man is supposed to be strong. I'm not supposed to show that I have been crying in the past. I'm not supposed to say that. And I said, well, you can talk about emotional things. You can talk about things where you have cried or whatever, if those things are things that are handled. If it is something still wounded inside you, then definitely don't mention it in front of a girl you want to seduce. Mention it to your therapist, to a psychologist, to heal. Once it is something you have recovered from, something deep about your past that you have recovered from, then mentioning it will instantly, and I repeat, instantly separate you from all the other guys out there, because it is extremely rare that somebody can share something vulnerable about them without falling apart. That is extremely rare, even more among guys, even more among guys who are young. It is very scarce. When you can do that, she will be encouraged to share things about her too, and she will definitely feel like, well, usually I have this type of conversation with people I have known for years. And with you, I don't know why, but it is like I have known you for years and years. Those are the effects of those deeper connections. And then the last phase, number 4, is when you're no longer into the conversation phase, you are even into building projects together. So as you have guessed, at this point, we are almost not anymore into a flirtatious dating context. We are like in a serious relationship, which can happen with a friend too. Building projects may happen with your friends when you plan to go on vacation together. Anything where you can plan things together. And that is even a deeper topic. If you can go on vacation, or if you can stay locked in a room in some other country for like 1 week, 2 weeks with that girl, and it is going well, that is a massive, massive sign this relationship is meant to last, at least for a little while. Usually being together in a closed space for so long is a huge indicator of how likely you may belong, you may stay with that person, and if something goes wrong during that period of time, that is a massive hint that relationship may not be meant to last. So the 4 levels: level 1, superficial talk, just random boring stuff. Level 2, commonalities. What have you done in common? You did this, I did that too. You like this, I like that too. Level 3, we get into some sort of metaphoric bubble where both of us see the world differently compared to most people, and most people can't understand us because we have lived something painful or something great, but that not many people have lived. Once we get there, we feel more connected. And level 4, building projects together, planning things together to go on some adventure together. That is the last level where you are getting away from basic dating and you're really getting into a serious relationship, at least something that has the potential of becoming a serious relationship. Something interesting I noticed at this point from experience is I kind of know in advance if a connection I have with a girl is legit or not, because I know we are getting right away in the 3rd phase, like right off the bat, in stage 3, the us versus them. And it is not like I have to push that or to force on it. It is happening spontaneously from the very first minutes we meet. When we get into that phase right from the beginning, I know her and I really have a potential to exchange great moments together, whether romantically, just as a friend, whatever. I know we are meant to have a great time together. But in the beginning, I was so unaware of the sequence of phases, how it is supposed to happen and how it naturally happens among human beings, that I was always clueless about what to say next. And to that extent, if you want to figure out how to create an instant connection with a girl when you meet her for the first time, or at least enhance the possibility of a deeper connection, you have this document down below with the 5 best language patterns and the psychological explanations behind them that explain why they work so much, so well to create a great connection with the type of woman you like, and how to enhance the possibility that she will want to meet you again and that the both of you will have a great time together. Those are down below if you want to check them out. Be my guest. I hope this can give you some insights, and see you next time on the next video.